Okay, let's try this again. Starting up the stream for the second time. I just want to make sure Instagram is running. It's connected now, but one thing with Instagram is I need to keep the window open on my profile for streaming or it cuts off the connection. That's just how I have it set up right now. It looks like everything else. I'm going to see if I can click away. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt the connection. But I have the timer going up. I'm not going to wait 4 minutes to start up. Start up here in just a moment. Just want to make sure clicking around doesn't mess up my stream at all to Instagram. But also want to make sure that I can see chat over on X, because this stream does reach out to YouTube, Twitch, Kick, X, and Instagram. And so I've got my windows arranged just a little bit better, and that timer helps me keep an eye on the Instagram stream. And I also got that little scrolling stuff at the bottom. Okay. Little things like that causing a disruption, but we got around it. We're going to start with the same reference that I was working with last week, ending the week. This figure here, which I drew out and then used ink wash to start laying down a mid-tone, was too dark and sort of basically covered up all my pencil work. Let me get rid of this bot showing up over on Kick. Make sure I got X going. Before I get started, I'm going to drop a chat and say hello to everybody. Just want to say hello. Studies in comics for about 1.5 to 2 hours. I completely misspelled about. I'll do this shout out on all of the chats just to make sure everything is doing what it needs to be doing. I probably misspelled something. I just needed to type that out real quick. Okay, Instagram, come back to me. Are we still good? See the thing scrolling, that's good. Okay. Let me swap out my earbud. Alright, ready for blast off? Let me get my reference up. I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can. I need to put more time onto the comic book page today. For the stream. And while I'm getting my reference set up, I'm going to go through what's playing for music. I'm currently playing through Spotify. I have a Spotify playlist that's all royalty-free, copyright safe music that I should be able to stream with. We'll see how it goes after today. So I have about 55 hours worth of music from Carl Casey and White Bat Audio and some others that I've collected that hopefully will work out and that I can just continue using. It's all vaporwave and stuff like that, electronic type of music. And I'll figure out how to get some more metal music back around to our streams maybe later on this week. But this week I'll be playing that Spotify playlist. You'll find that just below my picture. Whether you're watching vertical or horizontal, I should have a little player window beneath my picture there. That way, hopefully you can read it if you're interested in what's playing, the name of the song, and so forth. I'm going to kind of block things in. I've adjusted the table that I draw on to where I'm looking a little bit more horizontal and less at an angle, which makes a huge difference. And if you don't have a good surface to work with, it took me a while to get my table here the way I wanted it. Take a look at legs. Legs may be a little short. I'm going to bring up his. Or they seem to be short. I just need to share or show where hips are. And this is basically my startup, my warm-up for the day, literally. So I'm gonna be real rough at first, but that feeling is still there. And because I don't want to put a lot of time into this today, as I want to just really warm up and stretch out my arm, you know, eye and hand coordination and so forth. And making sure I can hit that focus. Tomorrow I should be able to stream a little bit longer and put a little bit more time into the study. What's really probably more important for me is to, well, the study is important, and sketching and stuff like that, but also need to make sure I get my other projects finished. And including the study time, which I want to, you know, I really should do 30 minutes to an hour. Makes a big difference. I think after this one we'll switch the studies that we're using. Because I really can't help looking at this pose and this figure and thinking of a He-Man toy figure. Like, look, I'm looking at a He-Man toy. He's like that big. He looks like a He-Man figure. And the way his hand is, the way his hand is out like that. So I'm really just need to get my eyes focused to what I'm doing in the art. And this is great practice for that. I heard a boop. Hey, hello there. So I'll just continue to shade in with the graphite a little bit. I just want to be able to connect to, you know, those forms. Going into the comic book stuff later on, I may need to bring in the camera a little bit closer. In fact, I should do a focus check here in just a moment. Go ahead and come in a little bit closer. It's going to be a little tricky at first. Maybe about right there. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep an eye on the focus. Get my reference back up. And one thing I corrected with the drawing table and how I'm working with the art as I'm streaming, so hopefully I got things a little bit more straight for viewing the artwork compared to the reference. Want those legs to be just a little bit longer, I feel. Alright, can see a little bit of the pencil in the stream. Okay. And oops. Alright, this back muscle for the back of the leg. And if I can get just a little bit more outline, definition in the drawing. Man, that leg still looks just a little too short. Just a little bit, right? I'll go ahead and make that quick correction. I'm okay with that. And then we'll get our ink wash mixed up. That right knee is going to go a little lower than his left knee. His heel does not quite line up with that heel. Okay. I think also, I'm going to step back a little bit. There we go, right here. Press down harder. That shoulder there is pretty straight, not too much of a bulge or anything. Maybe because he has his right shoulder rolled back a little bit, but I figured there'd be more definition there. But maybe that's just how my brain wants to perceive that muscle group. I think I could probably bring this arm in. Yeah, I want to get real loose with the pencil here, but have it fall more in control of my hand. Okay. Camera's in my way, so it's kind of throwing me off. It's like somebody's got a hand in front of my face, but maybe I'll move it over here a little. Nah. That didn't help too much. Okay. I may just do this in pencil and skip the ink wash. I'm putting down so much graphite. Maybe that's what I'll do today. It's okay if I change it up a little bit, but as long as I, commit to doing the study. I am going to be working with mostly the pencil today. Let's see, I'm going to keep an eye on the time. My stream has been active to give me an idea of how long to continue here. what, 20-30 minutes? 20 minutes? Okay. I'll go for about another 15 minutes, and I'll switch over to the Mission Decontrol comic page. This watercolor paper is pretty toothy. It has that texture to it. Uh-oh. Looks like I lost my Instagram video. Okay, I'm just going to continue. Sorry, Instagram. I mean, I'll try to put it back up. I'll pull up the live video window to see if it pops up, but I don't think it will. I'll need to figure out a better way for that. Didn't have a problem last week with it. So I guess I need to sort of repeat the setup. It was just the way I had my computer windows situated and displayed on my monitor. But the moment I click away from Instagram shuts down. Just want to put a harder edge here. And that's alright. I'll get it figured out. That's why I have all these streaming options going on at once. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to pop up, unfortunately. Alright, so if we're not going to do the ink wash, let me see if I can get a... Or I'll just use my finger. Just kind of rub it around a little bit. I'll have to change the... Oh, well, never mind. It's okay the way it is. Was thinking I needed to change my stream title. Did not get very far over here, did I? I did not leave enough light. I'll need to subtract some of my graphite. Yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna kill Instagram. If it's still running for some reason, then let it be. Alright, cool. I definitely feel loosened up at this point. I didn't use the gray wash like I intended to start off with today. That's okay, as long as I'm working with whatever tools that'll help me get the somewhat desired results, as I'm trying to get as much shading into this as I can for the little bit of time that I do have. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, anybody that's out there at the moment. And the first time chatter, Chalk McBox, got it. Had to look at that for just a moment, but Chalk McBox, man, thanks for hanging out. if you're still here with me right now. Thanks for stopping by. Alright. Really want to keep going. But I got to move on. To some mission decontrol stuff. I will at least kind of smudge this out a little bit. Maybe erase out some stronger highlight, but let's see, however long, about 30 minutes. This muscle right here could be better. Needs to stick out more. That's one thing I noticed, that he's not lurched forward as much as he should be. Okay. This right here should definitely have more shadow. Okay. I could always set this aside to add some ink wash to it later, but I could always just build up some more graphite if I had the proper pencils with me with different graphite grades for softness and hardness of graphite. Then I would go through and definitely add some more darker areas, touch this up a little bit, and yeah, see, I even get around to the back. Maybe what I'll do is spend one day just focusing on the study. So you need to get more, just a lot more detail needs to be brought out in here. Some corrected areas and so forth. A little bit proportion, a little bit of everything, but that's okay. It was a really good warm-up for starting off the stream. Okay, let's set up for some bigger paper. And then start getting into focusing just on the comic book page that we started off with last week. I'm going to switch scenes. And I may need to do a focus check. And it is going to be hard to see. Another reason why I want to get through this as quickly, not as quickly as I can, but get as much of this done in the short amount of time that I have for it. Because I really need to sort of darken things up to make it easier to see on the stream. This is a test for not just making the comic book, but for streaming making the comic book. So there's a lot of different things going on at once. And then when I'm done, I'll clip out the study that I did for the video or for the stream, and then any bigger project stuff that is that'll be clipped out separately as well, and that'll help me with posting video content based off of that. But I do need to take a minute and make sure this focus on this camera is good. Let's go right there. Just so that I can get an overall sort of view of everything. Let me back up some more actually. Okay, let's give that a shot. Yeah, once I get some cool clips out of the stream video. There we go. This camera's not in my lap so much. Once I get some cool clips, I'll post those over on my usual social media profiles. You know, for like Facebook or X or Instagram. That should also go over to Blue Sky, Threads, or from Instagram. What else? We'll be putting more stuff on DeviantArt, and then building up ArtStation as well. There's many places to go to find Calderone.art. You can find my link tree on my webpage, which is the https://Calderone.art, or you can just go Calderone.art.com. Okay, back to what we were doing. The Mission to Control comic strip page that I'm going to pencil out with graphite. Going to ink with India ink. Going to apply some ink wash to this, some gray tones. And I'm probably going to keep it in black and white. In fact, I may skip the ink wash and I may just use straight black and white, but with some feathering and some texturing, hatching and so forth, maybe some stippling or something, so it looks like sort of an old school comic strip art that you would find in a newspaper, which not going to see much of anymore these days, but we can still reformat our comic strip. Instead of 3 or 4 panels in a row, I can take 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 panels and arrange them in a vertical space. And this vertical composition, I can still use a title panel. Hey, I wonder if I can adjust my exposure just a little. Let's do that just for a moment. A title panel to start off with, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels of story. Just simple story of the main character getting into a situation, and then it leaving with a cliffhanger, right? I'm using this opportunity to sort of introduce the character, and with only having these few panels, you're not going to tell a lot of story all at once, and that's okay. So the dialogue is going to be quick and simple, but get to the point of him being pulled out of hyperspace by space pirates, and suddenly in a face-off with these pirates who are hostile, ready to attack and take his cargo. That's where it's going to be. That's the cliffhanger. And then in the next strip, it'll go from there. What's he going to do? During this, we do see him taking his helmet off that he was wearing to start off with. So maybe he's implying something that he's setting up. He's also showing his confidence. Welcome to my humble home, said the spider to the fly. And welcoming in the pirates that are trying to break into his ship and into his cargo and take his stuff. So we've laid out a bit of the artwork. I wish it was a little bit darker to see, but that's what I'm going to be doing today, is just going over things again, or some more. Our title, artwork, caption boxes with some text, and those caption boxes are his internal dialogue. We have a little bit of onomatopoeia that's just on one panel. In fact, there are no I may put, you know what, I'm sorry, a speech balloon or two here in the final panel, showing the space pirates talking out loud. They're communicating to each other out loud, right? So we see some of that dialogue in the speech bubbles. But everything else is caption boxes for his internal dialogue. I'm going to bring the camera in. And I'll apologize for all the weird noises that may pop up here and there. But let's see if I can just seems really dark on the stream's end. Let's go ahead and do a focus adjustment. Anytime I move the camera, I need to take a moment to adjust any lighting or focus on the camera. So although I enjoy streaming and stuff of what I'm working on, it's not always super exciting. Alright, I'm going to put my head down and focus a little bit. Is there a... before I kind of put my head down and put that focus in, just to show what is going on here on your end of the screen, I should always have some music playing to help credit what's being played. This is the Spotify vaporwave cyberpunk kind of music playlist of copyright-free, royalty-free music that's available to play for streamers. So I have that playing, and that's going to be in the background. Hopefully that's not too loud. If it is, let me know. Up on the screen, you'll see a close-up of what I'll be working on as I go for the next hour and a half, roughly. On the bottom left, or if you're watching vertical, there at the top, are some references of the Mission Decontrol story and the character. Those two references, one is his ship, the second is a sort of comic book cover mock-up. Those are kind of small, maybe a little bit hard to see, but I do have those on my webpage, Calderone.art, or Calderone.art, if you want to see those in higher detail. Now, I'm not going to put all my time into going through and darkening everything. There's just little areas of detail that I want to make sure I fit in so it's not too open, and that the shapes that I draw in that are supposed to represent, parts of the ship, parts of armor, maybe it's weapons or maybe it's part of a person. Just want to make sure it's there to make sense. Just drawing in random switches and dials and displays. I'm going to make this helmet here bigger. I'm just going to draw in my panel borders a little bit better, a little bit darker. Ooh. Looks like I'm off just a little bit on that edge. That's okay. And I did make an adjustment here. I'm not going to zoom out for it, but I have a panel edge here that I moved over to allow a little bit more room for caption box. And can I may need to get another triangle to get going to be spinning the paper around a lot as I go through and rule out the panel borders and darken those up a little bit. little too far on that one. That's okay. Now going back out on the camera, it may be a little bit blurry. I'm going to push it back in closer to the drawing. Oops. Okay. Oh, let me get these guys in real quick. That looks like it's one big panel. I heard a ding-a-ling. Is that just a reminder? Okay. A coffee reminder? I guess let's go ahead and do the top panel as well. Take a bite of my granola bar, my lunch. Where is that bottom? There we go. Right here. Whoops, I'm so sorry about the mic. That was probably kind of loud. Sorry, I'm off the camera here. Off cam. flip it around again. Knocking over the mic again. Okay. Okay, refocused in. so sorry. Did it again. Make sure my Twitch is still going. It kind of looks like it's frozen. Or maybe not. Okay. So I don't have a whole lot of time left. I'm just experimenting with different shapes, just sort of details to throw in there that are a little bit abstract, but hopefully sort of fit in with the environment of him being inside of a ship, a cockpit that has controls and monitors and dials and switches and so forth. let's see, how am I doing on time here? I don't have a whole lot of time left, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end it here and put in some non-screen time on the page and just try to kind of clean it up a little bit, detail it out a little bit more. I want to get to the point where I have this inking, and my goal with this is to draw it all out to the point where I can ink it, even if it's not clean, perfect pencils for, you know, what you see for comic book publication and so forth, and for collaboration, because I'm doing my own pencils, inks, and any kind of colors or shading. I don't want to cut too many corners, but I'm flexible with cleanliness of the artwork. So I did want to at least go in today and just kind of darken things up, clean things up, clarify things a little bit better. As you can see from the beginning of the stream, it was pretty light. I'm going to go real tall with the camera here. Let's do a focus adjustment. And just hold it there. See if I can brighten it up. Nope, not quite. That's okay. You can see a lot more definition brought out after putting a little bit of time just kind of drawing things out, or, you know, re-outlining things. I needed to be clear. Also needed to set the sort of tone for the next page or for anything else after this. So this is good practice for it. The Mission D Control comic book page is coming along slow and go, but it's getting there. But I'm going to go ahead and stop there for today and work on this a little bit offline before I have to move on and do other duties for today. Duty. Alright, I know it's a little bit dark, but at least you can kind of see a little bit of things that are being drawn out. Alright, let's go to our ending soon. I appreciate you guys hanging out, anybody that was hanging out. Whether you were lurking or just stopping by, I really appreciate it. I will be back on tomorrow for another stream, for Tuesday's stream. It will be a longer stream. Hopefully I get started a little bit earlier and go a little bit longer. It may be the same thing where I do a very short study. I may not even do ink wash. I may just keep it with graphite. I'll see if I have some different grades of graphite lying around that I can work with. Or I may just work with ink itself. We'll see. But I'll keep up with the studies, but they're going to be a little bit